in the Telegram. Hopefully, you guys have taken advantage of the recent posts as well. Actually, let me just go ahead and start this thing so we can make this happen. So, peace, y'all. Welcome to the Spiritual Gems podcast. I'm your host, DJ. Half the time I do my intro, half the times I don't. But this is a space where we perceive reality from a higher mind, higher perspective. I'm in my bedroom today. That's what we've been doing the lives the last 2 weeks. Maybe we'll switch it up and go back into my living room. But yeah, we just switching up the vibes, you know. I'm liking the angle, I'm liking the lighting, I'm liking the situation and the comfort a little bit. So this is what we've been doing. But yeah, we perceive reality from a higher mind here, and we talk about deep topics, things that messages from spirit that I typically get via downloads throughout the week that is meant to be shared to you all for our benefit as a collective. So I love that. A couple of housekeeping things. If you were to go in the description, feel free to book a session with me. You know, I am an intuitive. I channel as well, not a trans channel like some of the things that you may have seen, but you know, I channel information. I tap into your emotional being and emotional self to help you free yourself from trauma, help you understand yourself better, as well as, you know, help you understand your life path if you don't know what that is. So, or your soul's purpose rather. So yeah, we do all of those things. So book a session with your boy, have them available for you. Also join the Telegram. It's a really dope place to be, I assure you. We have there's a couple members in there, which I love, you know what I mean? So it's nice and intimate, and we're very supportive of each other in there. You know, we're showing up for each other in there. We share sharing information about books and stuff like that. So right now, this week, we're reading The Game of Life and How to Play, by Florence Scovel Shinn. That's what we're reading this week. So in the chat, how many of y'all been reading the book so far? That's in the Telegram. Anybody started it? TJ said, that is my book. Yeah, yo, that book is absolutely amazing. It's so fire, right? You know, what I love about that book, and I can't even tell you how many times I've listened to it or read it, but I feel like it's just one of those books that you just need to always have on deck and just like revisit like at least once a year, just to kind of like set your mindset up, remind yourself of some of the principles and things that she shares in there. It's just absolutely amazing. It's like timeless information that you're always going to be able to use, and it really helps you understand manifestation. It helps you understand your energy. It helps you just look at life in a more optimistic way versus a pessimistic way. So yeah, you know, Spirit put it in my awareness to share this with the group, especially right now, because by the way, the group is free to join up. So yeah, sign up. Why not? I'm trying to tell you, but I'm calling in the right people. It has to be the right people with the right energy. Otherwise, you won't get kicked out. But anyway, yeah, it's just right now. This is a great time for us to kind of like make sure our mindset is in the right place, because things are speeding up. As you could tell, I mean, in the last several weeks, when have you ever seen multiple hurricanes of the same category within multiple weeks of each other? Or categories this high coming from the same area? Like, things are just speeding up. It's just wild. The level of damage of wild shit that's going on in the world, the level of change, revolutions, flooding. There's all types of shit going on in the world right now. We don't focus on the negative because that's not important. It's all about transformation and growth, right? And like Bashar loves to say, you know, it's like a slingshot being pulled into the dark. The further that we are as a collective pulled into the darkness, which is, I feel like, what's happening right now, the farther that we can be shot into the light, right? So, where was I going with this? There's just a lot going on right now in the world, and our mindset needs to be solid. And how the game of life and how to play it really helps with mindset. It's simple. It's easy to understand, though it does have a little bit of Christianity and Jesus principles mixed in there, which is not a problem at all. It really, you know, if you look at it above it, if you look at it with your mind's eye, your third eye, I should say, and you listen to it from your heart eye. Oops. doing too much clearly. Maybe we'll try it like this. Let's see how this ends up. If you're looking at it from your mind's eye, that it really helps you keep yourself grounded even when things don't appear to be going your way, right? There's sayings, there are affirmations that you can tell yourself that the book gives you to help you call in the right things for you, right? Whether that's partnership, right? Because I'm rereading it, so it's kind of more fresh in my mind. And she talks about, like, she's helping someone with a partner that they wanted, and so they saw this person that they decided they loved and wanted to be with, but obviously the person didn't know this and whatever. So she's like, "Help me manifest this, Florence." And Florence is like, "Well, I can't promise you this specific person, but what I can do is I can, call in your divine partner, the right person for you." You know what I'm saying? And like, I just feel like that's such a strong perspective, right? Like, the ego has a lot to do about the things that we desire that we don't understand and realize. And so by calling in your divine partner, it might not necessarily match up fully with your ego. You know what I mean? It might, parts of it will and can and should. Um, but that way you're calling in the right things that are going to be sustainable, because how many times have we fallen into the traps where we've seen someone or thought that we wanted something and had no idea who this person was. We're just looking at the fantasy of which we're projecting onto someone, and we want them who we want them to be, right? Or who we think that they are from how they look physically or what they seem like in social situations, but you don't really know that person. And so you're wishing and you're hoping and you're praying for this particular person to see you and give you attention and love, or you want that person and you're trying to move towards it. And it's like the more you move towards it, the farther away it is. And it's because it's probably not a vibrational match for you. It's probably not the right thing for you. And sometimes you get what you ask for, right? And as many times Miss Shin explains in the book that, like, hey, it typically falls apart. It doesn't work out in the right ways for you. So yeah. Anyway, why is this book important right now? Well, for those of you who aren't in the group chat, you can find this book online or through YouTube and listen to it that way as well. But we're going to need to have some of these same attitudes and mindsets for next year, because next year, 2025, is a 9 year, and it's about transformation and endings. Cycles will be endings. Relationships will be endings. Old soul contracts and patterns that need to end will end. You know what I'm saying? If you read between the lines of what I'm saying, there's going to be a lot of endings. And we all know that endings aren't the most comfortable for us in the ego, right? But these things are meant to happen. So listen, if you aren't reading this book, please read this book. It is so worth the read. All right, let's see what the comments are saying. My bad, y'all. And just the way those words are out together just activates something in me. Talk that talk, TJ. I missed that post about the book in Telegram. I have to go back and tap in. I think I caught the pre-show. Okay, cool. No problem, Mal. It's there. Check it out. You'll see it. Keep that faith to the 11th hour. You heard? That alone helped me bring so much into the physical. Talk your talk, TJ. We might need you to do a testimony for the crew soon enough so they can understand. And then Melissa says, pre-show meaning I started going through weeks ago. But I have been experiencing a range of emotions around my situations. I'm just now starting to feel a little bit more grounding, feeling love to all. Love that for you. All good, all good. Let's see. Mike said, Metaphysical Mike, what up? Meta Mike in the building. I was on Facebook and I couldn't believe there are actually people making fun and joking about this devastating hurricane going through Florida. It just hurts to see how sick some people are. Yeah, Mike, I think what that speaks to, brother, is like there's a lot of people that are in low states. We live in a society that I don't really say this as much anymore, but when something is supposed to be funny, people say, especially in our culture, we say, I'm dead, I'm sleep. Like, you know what I mean? Like like the power of the voice and the things that we say, the things that we believe, right? The everything that's supposed to be not everything, but a lot of things that should be pushed forward and supported are considered cringe, right? And the way in which things have twisted, like, the way people use aura, it's like we're trying to wake up out of this sleep, but there's a celebration of death culture. Like, think about the music, hip hop especially, drill music and stuff like that. Like, they always talking about demon time. Just weird. Why would you want to celebrate that? That don't make no sense. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? I was young once. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing any better, being angry, not really understanding why. But a lot of our systems promote that. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's the news, the media outlets, hip hop, and black culture, unfortunately, is well, not unfortunately, but our culture, hip hop culture, American culture, black culture, these things are spread throughout the world, and they think that shit is cool. You know what I'm saying? And so it just is what it is. So we celebrate dumb shit like this. It's funny to laugh about things that are dark and evil, or I don't say evil, but you know what I'm trying to say. That's the things that we celebrate in this culture. So, but that's okay, right? Because no need to get disgusted with that, because here's what's going to happen, right? One, karma. Two, the lower the state that we're in, like I just talked about, that rubber band example that Bashar loves to use, where the further we are being pulled into the darkness, the farther we fly forward into the light, right? So these things, these systems, the ways of thinking, it's going to change. I have this intuitive feeling that a lot of people are about to wake up. And not everyone will, right? There's going to be people that are going to choose. And we talk about this five down, how we got here, but we go in here. um Listen, we're going into this 5D existence. What does that mean? It's just a higher dimension, higher plane. So what does that look like? Things manifest more quickly, right? Things will be lighter in terms of energy, right? We're going to need and require less food, for example, right? Like, you're going to find yourself like, damn, I used to be hungry all the time. Now I'm not as hungry, for example, right? The density is just not as dense. Things are just lighter. Things are less slow moving, right? So some people are going to choose to stay in what's called the 3D consciousness, which is the old consciousness, right? But that consciousness has to end at some point, right? So in order for it to be done, we talked about this last week, chaos must ensue in order to break down the old foundation. Some people will not make the choice to rise higher. Some people will stay in those depths. Some people will stay into the ignorance because they're afraid or practicing cognitive dissonance because they don't want to let go of their egoic desires, right? So listen, if we want to rise to the so-called ascend to this next level, those are the things that we have to heal and behind. Some will come with us and some won't. But here's the thing, there's something called a tipping point. And typically what that means is there's just a small actual portion of existence that needs to ascend in order for us to begin changing the world. That's the beautiful thing, Mike. So what we do is we don't give the energy or the focus on the negative anymore. We don't need to do that, right? I mean, yes, we can talk about it, discuss it, whatever, but when we operate in love for ourselves first, and emanate that throughout the world around us will change. And because we're moving into the 5D, things change like that eventually, right? Time is speeding up. You be like, yo, you be doing some shit. You don't even know where the time goes. So it's only a matter of time is what I'm saying, my brother. So we not even giving those negative folks any type of attention, any type of validity. We're gonna begin to focus on ourselves. We're gonna begin to focus on the positives and continue to be protected. Those who need to go through what they need to go through, they got to go through it for their evolution, whether it's this life or the next. They want to keep doing it. That's on them, dog. You feel me? TJ said, I got a physical copy of her book somewhere too. That's my Bible word. I love that. I love that. But yeah, yo, join the Telegram. Link us up. For those of you who are in the Telegram already, in the SG Collective group, I hope that y'all are reading the first chapter. We're reading the first chapter, and it's only like 8 pages. So I know that y'all could do it. And I put the audio version in there, so ain't no excuses. All right, we're gonna be on that ass. All right, so let's get into the message of today. We're gonna be talking about the star seeds, um, old souls, and remember who you are. Anybody in here know what a star seed is? And we might have all different definitions. One's in the chat if you feel like you're a star seed or if you know what that is. And while y'all do that, I'm gonna pour me some tea because I think my tea is done steeping and fix my mic real quick. Oh shit, why is that doing that? The hell? Must be pouring too fast, y'all. Cheers. Trust the process. Oh shit. Trust the process. All right. Definitely joining that Telegram. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate you, brother. I'm happy to have you. Yeah, pull up because we need to talk about this. You know what I mean? You're the perfect person to have discussions on this book since you read it so much and you have the physical copies. Like, let's get it. Like, I want to talk about what you got highlighted. I want to talk about what you find powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because we can be looking at the same thing and see different perspectives, and I can learn something from you and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's get it, yo. Because next year we're gonna be on top. You're all right. So we got nothing on the starseed thing. Cool, no problem. I thought I was a starseed earlier in my spiritual journey. I just think I'm an old soul now. All right, no problem. I get it. It's all good. All right. So starseed. What do I mean by starseed? So I'll tell you what my definition is. So because it might be different for some of you all, but we'll just go with mine today. So star seeds are basically the souls that have been sent from different parts of the galaxy to come here to help Earth ascend. Okay. That's what I deem as a star seed. Okay. Now, there are many people from different parts of source that may come from other portions of the galaxy to have a human experience for whatever reason. What seems to be my understanding, and my limited understanding, so I don't know everything, but there are a lot of souls who come here and they get stuck. They get stuck into the karma cycle and the karma wheel, and they keep having to come back over and over and over, or are stuck in lower dimensional states because they weren't able to transition properly based on their own judgment of self, based on the lies and the belief systems that occur here. And so many of us who are considered so-called old souls are actually ones who have come through the human experience and made it out safely. Well, let me not say made it out safely. That sounds kind of fucked up. How can I say this better? Who were able to transcend, right? We weren't stuck in the human experience. We were able to get through it. We've been through it. We were able to ascend. So some of us may be ascended masters, or part of our souls may even be connected to ascended masters, right? Some people have gone on to be angels, gone on to be other star beings, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't need to get into all that. But we're just going to go based on that simple definition, right? So a lot of us, okay, came here to help humans wake up and ascend. Through this process, sometimes we, even ourselves, get trapped here, right? Even though we've made it out before, some of us forget, and that's why we go through our own awakenings, right? So me, I'm a life path 9, right? Life path 9ers are known to be the humanitarians, aka the old soul, right? Meaning that typically we've gone through the 1 through 9 process of the different life paths and enabled to kind of ascend to this point. And now we're bringing all of it together in this lifetime. That's also part of our numerological path. Okay. Now, does it really matter if you're a life path 1 versus another? Not necessarily. You know what I mean? But I'm just going based on what we understand about numerology, right? So a lot of us, especially if you are connected to this platform, you probably are a starseed. Now, we're not looking at time as linear, right? Only in this experience does time exist, right? Or there's probably other dimensions where it does as well, excuse me. But when we pass on, when we move on to this next step, when we are in between transitioning from this life into the next, if we so decide, the time does not exist. It's not linear. It's not like going in a certain projection or a certain process. It just is, right? That's why when you're on the next plane, you can think about something and it will just instantly appear. There's no such thing as that because it's a higher vibration, right? So the higher dimensions we get into, thus 5D, why things will manifest more quickly. Okay. So understand that a lot of the souls that have come within the last, I'll probably say from late 70s onward, and every generation has a different name. And forgive me, they're escaping me now. But a lot of the souls that are coming in now, since basically the early 80s, are these older souls, right? And we came, and this is why, like, we look at our parents sometimes and we're like, yo, like, y'all are bugging. Like, why don't y'all get it? Right? It's because we came here to break a lot of the shit that's going on. We came to end a lot of the cycles that's been running in our family bloodlines for hundreds of years, some maybe even thousands of years. Okay. That's what our job was when we came here. This is why some of us are the black sheep of our families. We're like, yo, how is your family so crazy and wild and you like the chill one and you're like the only one that's like thinking level headed? That's because you are the old soul. You are that starseed that came here to break the generational curses for your family. This is a heavy, heavy burden, y'all. You know what I mean? It's not something that's the easiest thing to go through. So this message is for you. And if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, that's okay. But I'm talking to my starseeds right now, right? Like, it's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to begin to stepping into our power. The world right now needs us now more than ever, because we are now about to get, as we're breaking down this old chaotic world, we're going to create a new foundation that it needs to stand on going forward into this golden era, golden age. That's a very important job. The call was put out across the galaxy and you stepped up. You stepped up. This is why your life has been so fucking difficult. When other people in your family seem to just get along and like they don't mind the fuckery that's going on, right? They're just like, they don't even see it, right? I'm sure many of you can understand that or have had that feeling. Is like, yo, am I the crazy one? Like, how do people not see that this is fucked up? Is because they don't. They're so shut down. They're so closed off. They have so much built up trauma. Like they're such a slave to their circumstances that they can't break through. They haven't been able to break these cycles for a while. Some of these people have been at the same shit for hundreds of years in our time. Again, there's no judgment because after this, there's nothing else. There's no time in the next segment of this thing. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. You're just doing the same shit over and over and over and over. I mean, even in this life, many of us have been through some of those same things, right? So that's why your life has been so challenging. This is why your life has been so hard at moments. This is why you feel so misunderstood. This is why it feels like there's not a lot of people around you that understand this, because they're not meant to. We're sprinkled around the world to help people ascend and wake up and to break these cycles. You know what I'm saying? This is our job. That's what we came here to do. Just is what it is, right? Melissa says, I call my students starseeds at my previous school. Oh, that's what's up. Many of them probably are starseeds. I'm trying to tell y'all. SP, what up, sis? Thanks for pulling up. Steph is good people. All right, so I have a video for us today that I found on Instagram that I really wanted to share. I think it does a good job of explaining what this really truly looks like for us. So yeah, I'm about to play that in a second. Just give me one moment while I get this set up for the squad. I do not feel like signing in. So let me share the screen real quick and let's get this popping. Window. What window do I want to stream? Why? Okay, I gotta My bad, because I'm split screen is doing this. Window, boom, boom. All right, it's up. Not much to see. It's mostly just to hear. Some of y'all may have seen this in my stories, but we'll watch it again. It's about 6 minutes long. And it's a vibe. So let's check this out.
Wait a second. You volunteered to go to Earth? I did. I had to. I had family trapped on Earth. But how could you get trapped on Earth? You had to be there to understand. On Earth, you wouldn't remember anything. What do you mean you wouldn't remember anything? I mean, you would have no memory of anything. You wouldn't even remember existing before Earth. What? How is that possible? It was designed that way. It was brilliant. To dive as deeply as possible into such ignorance, such darkness, and still find your way back to remembering who you were, that took true mastery. Wow. I still can't believe you went to Earth. Tell me more. Well, Earth had its own set of laws that everyone agreed to experience, like gravity. What goes up must come down, like linear time. Day is followed by night. Time? What's time? You know how when we think of something, it manifests instantly? Well, on Earth, there was a delay. The delay is what made Earth so difficult. Interesting. Time. So tell me more. Before going to Earth, you would choose your family, whether you wanted to be male or female, what race you wanted to be, the location on the planet, things like that. Oh, so you could choose your own character. Exactly. You would enter the Earth as a baby and be completely dependent on others to teach you the rules. But since nobody could remember the rules, they made up their own rules, based on fear and giving your power away to others. That doesn't sound like much fun. It wasn't for everyone. What did you do while portions of you were on Earth? I watched them. It was pretty funny. What was so funny? Here were these magnificent beings, playing the most unique and cutting-edge experience in the universe, and they were clueless. I tried to guide them as much as possible. Wait a second, you could communicate with them? Yes, but they couldn't hear me. I would show them synchronicities, or send them impulses to help guide them, but they couldn't see the signs. Why not? They didn't trust themselves. So is that why they sent out a call for help? Exactly. Is that when you went? No, I didn't go until later. First volunteers, they had it the worst. What do you mean, had it the worst? Well, they killed them. What? They killed the volunteers. They killed them? Those on Earth couldn't understand what the volunteers were telling them. The idea that they were equal to the volunteers scared them. What were they telling them? Common sense stuff like, all the answers you seek are inside you. Everything I can do, you can do and more. So they killed them? And then they twisted the volunteers' message and created even more fear. What do you mean more fear? Like the message God is inside you was turned into you are separate from God. The message all the answers you seek are inside you was twisted into you can't trust yourself. And they believed it? It was out of control. How could they believe that? You had to be there to understand. Did you know they actually believed that they were the only intelligent life in the universe? Now that's funny. Pretty crazy, I know. So then what happened? The designers knew Earth was going to enter a section of the galaxy that humans had never experienced before. A section filled with a frequency that might be able to reconnect the human's DNA. What was wrong with their DNA? It didn't work anymore. The thing is, their DNA was how they connected with their higher self. So that's why your incarnations can hear you. Exactly. But there was a catch with the new plan. Only those incarnated on Earth could tune in to these new frequencies. Oh, so they needed more volunteers. Yes, but this time they were taking no chances. To pull this off, they needed millions in the physical form, wired and ready to attune to these frequencies. Are these the 21st century humans that all the stories are about? Yep. We volunteered from every corner of the universe to help the humans wake up. What did the volunteers have to do once they got there? We had to wake ourselves up, attune to these frequencies, and spread them to the rest of the planet. That sounds impossible. Most of those watching the Earth experiment didn't think we could pull it off. So, what happened when you got to Earth? Once on Earth, we were taught the same fear-based beliefs that had been handed down for eons. We lived just like everyone else, totally clueless to who we were and what was getting ready to happen. But as soon as the Earth entered this cloud of frequencies, we started to question everything. And one by one, we started to wake up. So the plan was working. It was. The more we trusted ourselves, the quicker we reconnected. And the faster we started to remember what was happening. And since we were spread out evenly all around the planet's frequency began to rise quickly. What happened when the planet's frequency began to rise? Humans' experience of time began speeding up. They started manifesting their beliefs faster and faster. Those consumed with fear created even more fear, and eventually Earth just spun out of control. What do you mean, spun out of control? These low-frequency beliefs that had controlled the human experience for eons could no longer exist, so they began to self-destruct, and the world fell into complete chaos. That sounds terrifying. It was for those living in fear, but for us volunteers, we all knew it was the end of the old energy and the beginning of the new. So then what happened? A tipping point was reached in our awakening, and we created a new Earth. A new Earth? What happened to the old Earth? It continued on, allowing those who could not let go of their fears to play out their lessons. But for us, we created a new Earth that matched our higher frequency. And as easy as that, all the fear-based beliefs simply fell away. In an instant, we remembered who we were. We knew we were all connected, and we stopped hurting each other. We started respecting each other, started loving each other. We took back our power to create, and we created a new Earth without fear. Wow, so the legends are true. What an incredible experience that must have been. Nice work. Thanks.
Yeah, y'all. I feel like that video encapsulates just about everything about this experience. So now that y'all have seen that, does that resonate with any of you? Let me get some ones in the chat or say something about how you feel. How did that make you feel seeing that? Did any of that make sense? For those of you who may not have seen my story, or maybe the first time coming across that, I'm over here like, why aren't their mouths moving? Telepathic communication. Yeah, I guess I would assume that, TJ. Wait a way. Yo. All right. He said definitely it resonates. Britt said, wow, that vid has me emotional. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. It resonates. Yo, TJ is hilarious, bro. Listen, y'all, for many of us watching this right now, in the future, in the past, however this works, if you're seeing this, like, you're meant to see this. You're meant to come across that video. You're meant to come across this knowledge, because you are an older soul. You are a star seed, whatever you want to call that. And of course, age doesn't exist on the other side. You know what I mean? But you get what I'm saying. You've done this before, which is why you came back here. This is what I'm saying. This is just why you came back here, to help the planet ascend, to create this new world. So let's do it. It's time to wake up. It's time to step in our power. It's no longer time to continue to hide and to blend in and to go through the process of like the mundane shit. That doesn't mean, I'm not saying like you need to quit your job today and just say fuck it. But I'm saying to you, it's time for us to really walk in our purpose now. I keep saying this, yo. I've been saying this shit since like July. I feel like Spirit's been putting this shit like heavily, like awakening. We're on the precipice of another huge awakening. Okay. And there's people, Professor Mel says this all the time too. Now I think about it, there's people that you are here to help, that are designed for you to help, that like your voice is going to resonate with, you know what I mean? With them. You know what I mean? That you're meant to connect with, to help them, guide them through, because you're the best person to do it. Because all the shit that you've been through, y'all, that's its purpose. That's its reason. It was all purposeful. It wasn't anything personal. It wasn't because you were less than. It wasn't because you deserved it. You know what I mean? Like you chose to go through this experience so that you can overcome it, so that you can show other people how you got through it. So we can bring them along with us. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Like it's time. Let's get it. Oh my God. Like this is crazy. Uh Resonates totally. It made me feel so grateful to be awake. Facts. Facts, Melissa. That's a fact. I experienced instant manifestation this week. I thought to myself, I'm hungry and didn't have the money in my pocket to buy food. I walked about a minute or so and saw a church sign free lunch. Yo. Listen, man, you just can't make this shit up. You really can't. Listen to me, y'all. Like your needs are always met. I know this shit sounds scary to some of y'all, some of you who may not have come across this information or maybe have heard it in the wrong way, in some type of elitist way. Like, it's just as simple as that, bro. Like your needs will always be met. You're always going to be taken care of. The journey seems scary. You're like wondering, well, how am I getting my bills paid? Somehow it's going to work out. It always does. Everything always works out for you. You're never going to go without, yo. You're never going to go without. Just trust the process. Just do the things. Follow your promptings. Excuse me. What Professor Mel be telling is real true, is real facts. Excuse me. I've seen it in my life and I'm not perfect at it. Sometimes I fail. I've seen it in other people's lives that I counsel, that I help. Like, I don't know how else to express this, bro. It just fucking works. So make your life easier by just following your promptings and just trusting that spirit will always be with you. And I think that to bring it back to the game of life and how to play it book, I think that's how this all relates to this. Is like, yo, we need to understand more deeply that we're good. You can trust the universe. You can trust the Most High to take care of you. You can trust your angel team, your higher guides, your higher self, however you want to perceive the higher consciousness that we are connected to. They got you. They got your back. 120%, family. As per Melissa just gave a great testimonial about in her own life, and she has many testimonies, as we all do. Shit just be working out, and you're like, yo, I didn't think it was gonna work out this way, and somehow it did, yo. It really works. But let's also talk about. Oops.
You volunteered to go to Earth?
Yeah, that's enough of that. My bad. Let's talk about a little bit of why you're kind of like scared to launch, right? Because like even after hearing this, for those of you who may have been hearing this for the first time and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like this resonates, but I'm scared. Like I don't know what to do. I don't know why, blah, 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 blah. Or I have these traumas that are holding me back. I'm trying to work through it. Like, listen to me. Some of the things that you're working through is not yours. And by not yours, I'm talking about some of this shit is generational. Some of this stuff, we talked a little bit about this, but I'm going to dive just a little bit deeper today. Some of this stuff is just bloodlines and bloodlines and bloodlines of trauma, of people not being able to heal and get into their heart space, having such deep self-loathing, such a low self-worth, right? Living in the lower densities, as the young ladies were just talking about, right? Making and choosing patterns off of fear instead of love and trust of the universe. Even though they feel this strong sense of what to do, they do the opposite because they went with their logical mind instead of trusting and being in faith with things. So a spirit had told them to, leave a relationship or whatever, and that they can do better. And they just decided to stay because it's safe, because of the security of money. And they're used to this pain because what's the saying? How does the saying go? It's better to deal with the devil that you know than the devil you don't. These are the type of ideas and tropes that have been kind of beat into brains for centuries. Sexual abuse and trauma, shit from slavery still going through in our bloodlines to this day. Some of that happened to us, unfortunately. And we were meant to go through it. I know that it sounds fucked up. Like, why would I choose to go through something that terrible? Well, because you can transcend it. That's why. Because you can heal from it no matter what the fuck you've been through, no matter what you've seen in your life, no matter what the trauma was. It may not necessarily leave you per se, but you can transcend that. You can heal that. And so by you healing that thing that's been in your family bloodline for fucking eons, as the young ladies were talking about, that prevents future generations from having to experience that thing. This is called epigenetics. This is becoming science now. They're literally proving that trauma is passed down in your bloodlines through your DNA. So some of the shit that you're doing, okay, for the so-called first time, other members of your family had choices to do. Had choices that they could have broken those cycles already, but they just couldn't do it. So they stayed in those abusive relationships. They stayed in those repressive situations. You know, they continue to make the choices to trample on people and abuse power out of fear of what would happen if they didn't. Or if they did. So peace, Genevieve. Hello, you just popped up for me. What's up, Genevieve? You were meant to see this. Thanks for pulling up. So yeah, like yo, so this is calling out to the star seeds, fam. It's time to break the generational trauma, man. It's time for us to move forward. Oh, you're in Canada. That's what's up. Ah, the name Genevieve. Peace from the US. I love that. So listen, man, it's time for us to break these cycles. Like, you don't have to go through the same thing anymore. You don't have to allow these things to move forward. Epigenetics has pointed to the fact that, yes, these traumas are passed down from generation to generation. Okay. But guess what? When one person decides in that family to break that trauma and heal that DNA by doing that, it no longer gets transferred forward. I recognize Metaphysical Mike. I've subbed. Oh wow, that's dope. That's what's up. Yeah, Metaphysical Mike is my guy. I don't know if he's still in here, but shout out to him. That's what's up. Welcome, Jennifer. Thanks for pulling up. So anyway, do you know of Yolanda Marie? I do not. I'm not familiar, but I'll try to remember to look her up after this. And I need to sub to my guy, Metaphysical Mike. Now that you say that. Britt, if you don't mind taking a note of that so I don't forget, please. I appreciate you. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. So listen, it's purposeful during this time, fam. For my starseeds out there, my the people who came here to help the consciousness of the planet to ascend and heighten. You know, the people who, like you're an old soul, the odd ones, the ones that don't necessarily fit in, the ones that are actually awake and looking at this shit like, yo, we got to change, trying to break the patterns and cycles. It's time for us to be brave enough to do it. Like, we're here to lead the charge in this area. We're here to create the new foundation of this new world and where it's going. That's what we signed up for. So we don't have to stay asleep and ignore our calling. It's time for us to stand up. You have everything within you. You have all the gifts, all the power, all the intuition. You must simply tap into it. Follow your intuition, follow your promptings, follow your passions. This is the time to start the process. Even amongst all the chaos and the bullshit that's happening in the world, this is the best time for us to be doing this, because this is the most integral time in human history. Yes, history repeats itself, but nothing has happened on the planet in this exact way, just like this. It hasn't existed. Genevieve says, we knew this part was coming. Must stay grounded and on track. 100%, Genevieve. Peace, artist. Thanks for pulling up, brother. So it's time for us to wake up. So if those of you who know, like Joe Dispenza, he talks about epigenetics a lot. But just for some more perspective, I just want to read something real quick just to give us some more general understanding of these things, just in case you haven't come across these things before. Yeah. So how I came across this, I was listening to someone and they were talking about this mice study, and it reminded me of something that I heard maybe before the pandemic about this, and I just completely forgot it. And I was like, Spirit, thank you for putting this back in my awareness, right? So it's basically something called transgenerational inheritance, right? So this is another fancy way of just saying trauma that's passed down through the bloodlines, right? So just like there are specific like gene codes that might get activated when certain things are happening in the family. So, like sometimes we'd be like, oh, everybody in my family has the sugars or diabetes, right? So everyone in my family gets hypertension. And it's just something that's, genetically disposed. Oh my God. I can't talk today. It's okay. Um, I'm genetically predisposed. I'm genetically affected. Let's just put it that way, by these things based on my family bloodlines. It runs in my family. That's true. But the thing is, the genetic markers don't always hit everyone. Why is that? Because of certain choices that you make. If your mother had, diabetes, your father had diabetes, your grandmother and your grandfather on each side had diabetes. If you choose to have and take a different lifestyle choices, if you decide to not continue to eat the traditional foods that were passed down in the way of eating and the way of living in terms of healthy lifestyles that your grandparents or may or may have not lived, there's a chance that you actually won't get it, right? There are people who have had type 2 diabetes go into remission. Wait, am I getting the type 1, type 2? One is like they say can't be so-called cured. The other one is usually based on like diet, being overweight, stuff like that. I don't remember the types right now. But anyways, either one is reversible, or how do we say goes into remission? Because sometimes you can't say the word cure, right? Because it can come back. So you can't say that it's curable. Anyway, so by that person may being determined and saying like, hey, I'm not going to eat the same foods. I'm not going to live the same lifestyle. So for example, I'm not going to smoke. If your parents smoke, you don't have to smoke. If your parents drink, you don't have to drink alcohol, right? You don't have to sit there and eat bacon all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like these are all choices that we make, right? So just by doing that, you have the opportunity and the chance to not have diabetes. And if you continue that process, you pass that knowledge on to your kids and they won't get it either, if they choose to not do it. Now, if they choose to continue to go back to the old cycles or whatever, then of course it's going to come back. You see. But it's as simple as that. Type 2 can't be reversed, they say. Okay, thank you, artist. Appreciate it. So my point that I'm making here, okay, is that everything is a choice, right? You don't have to do what your parents did. If your parents live in the projects, you don't have to live in the projects for the rest of your life. It's like, there are generations of families that have lived in the projects. It's not like one cycle down bad. Like they've been down bad for a minute. And all it takes is one person to make that difference, to break that cycle. That's all it takes. So let's get back to this. So transgenerational inheritance suggests that experiences from one generation, particularly trauma, can influence the health and behavior of future generations. This happens through epigenetics, which involves changes in gene expression without altering the DNA sequence. Factors like trauma can lead to epigenetic changes such as DNA methylation, affecting how genes are turned on or off, excuse me. If these changes are passed down, they can influence traits like behavior, metabolism, and disease susceptibility. Research shows that descendants of those who face severe trauma may have altered stress response or health risks, underscoring the role of family history in our well-being. This emphasizes that some fears or feelings might originate from our bloodline. All right. So science is beginning to back up. So they're doing study with mice. So they're basically taking mice, they're putting them in a situation. So they might give them like extreme stress responses, like put them in a situation when they're living in fear every day for a certain amount of time, putting them through a maze and stressing them out and stuff like that. Then they take them out of that particular environment, allow them to replicate themselves. Then they allow them to replicate. Mice replicate pretty quickly. And what they then do is they take several generations of the mice and then put the mice, the different mice in similar environments. And they find that just being in an environment, even the first time, stresses them out immediately, even without the immediate stressors that were in the original testing of the trauma, right? But just the idea of being in that place, it just sets something off within them. So why am I bringing that up? Because we're similar to that. A lot of the shit that you're afraid of is because your mother was afraid of it. Your dad was afraid of it. All right. I love using relationships on this channel. Some of this shit with people and relationships that they go through, like hardships in relationships, aren't even really them. This is stuff that your parents could not defeat. Your parents' could not defeat. Right? Like, so when you get into relationships and you're like, yo, I don't know how to function. Why is it that I'm attracting these experiences? Yes, it's because you need to go through this to a level of evolvement to help you evolve and shit like that. But part of this is because it's a bloodline thing. It's an issue. It's a so-called curse. It's things that we must break. So my star seeds out here, this message is for you. It's time to wake up. It's time to step up. It's time to let go of all of the things. It's time to break the generational trauma. It's time. You can do it. You have the power within you. I'm telling you, you have the power within you. I've seen it in my own life, fam. And I know that you can do it, yo. And there's no better time than now. As things are falling apart in the world, there's no better time than now for you to step up. And you know that this resonates. You know that this speaks to your soul, fam. You know what it is. Hello, Auditron. What's up, Auditron? What if we are awake already? This message is still for you. If you're awake, guess what you should be doing? Are you walking in your purpose? Are you following your passions? Are you putting yourself in position to assist those that you're supposed to assist? Are you loving yourself? Are you healing yourself? Are you operating in self-love? Are you letting go of the old ways of thinking in your life? The things that are holding you back, making you play life small. This is our job as starseeds. It's time for us to step up. Right? If you're awake, congrats. The real journey starts now. You know what I'm saying? Interesting. Yes, yes, yes. And I love that, Auditron. So let's get it. Let's continue to step in our power. Let's continue to speak up. Let's continue to hold love in our hearts for ourselves and the world. Let's continue to heal because we are the ones that are here to help with this tipping point, right? To help the world ascend into this better existence. So let's keep doing that. So I applaud you, Auditron, for doing your thing. Salute. We appreciate you. We appreciate you and welcome. You know what I'm saying? All love. Seeing others as larger self is critical. Seeing others as larger self is critical. 100%. 100%. We're getting to the point where we're going to becoming less, in the West, we're very individualistic. Some other cultures are a little bit better, but as humans, there's a lot of separation and there's a lot of duality where we operate in. You know what I'm saying? A lot of judgment that happens because of that, et cetera, et cetera. And as we continue to operate in love and ascend, that separation will be less and less because what we realize is that, yes, we all come from source. We're just different. We're just source viewing itself and experiencing itself in different ways. So I am you and you are me. And that's why we need to operate in love for each other instead of hate. But this idea of like left and right, blue and red, black, white, other races, Christian, Buddhist, whatever, like everything is about segmenting everything. You know what I'm saying? Instead of bringing things together and respecting our individualism within it. It says peace to all the chat. Imagine being grateful for others' achievements. 100%. And here's the thing. We also need to support and show love for those who aren't awake. Right? To those who are perpetuating the systems that need to change. We have to send love to them too. To the people who, I don't want to say no names, but let's just say let's say the 1% that basically runs the world because they have the largest control of the wealth, and they're making a lot of the decisions for the people on the bottom to suffer and all that. You know what I'm saying? We even have to show love for them. And that's sometimes challenging because it's just like, yo, why? Like, why are you doing these things? It doesn't, what is that bringing you? Right. But even those people we have to send love for, and we have to allow them to learn what they need to learn through it all. But also know that we are more powerful than them. Know that if we were to come together, we can end this all right now if we so decide. So the more of us, Aditron, that are awake and are stepping on our purpose and are sharing the knowledge if we need to, and are holding the light for those who are lost, the more that we do that, the better the world becomes. And the tipping point will happen. Peace, Steve. Steven Navarra, thanks for pulling up. We are too polarized. Yeah. And that's done on purpose. The media machine. I mean, just look at the news, bro. It's all over the news all the time. Nothing but negativity. Nothing but negativity and narratives and half truths. You know, it's all over the place. It's in our music, it's in our media, it's in the shows that we watch, it's in our fashions, it's in everything. We are all one energy. Talk that talk, Steve. It takes those deplorable people to balance the light that star seeds are trying to spread. Talk that talk. So yeah, to my fellow star seeds out there, thank you for pulling up. For those of you who feel like this message resonates with you, you know, rewatch this live. You know what I'm saying? I believe in you. It's time for you to step up. It's time for you to be your full self. We don't have to hide anymore. You don't. You have support. We're here. We're all here for you. Your team is here for you. Your angels are here for you. Your guides are here for you. Your higher self wants you to step up. It's time for us to get to it. It's time for us to get after it. Let's get out of the separation. Let's get out of the polarity, as Stephen just mentioned, right? It's about togetherness. It's about strengthening ourselves, right? It's about love, unconditional love for self. All you need to do right now is just start with unconditionally loving yourself, healing those things that come from your bloodlines, right? To bring that to bring everything full circle. The things that are in your DNA can sometimes cause strain and strife. And you're like, dang, I want to do better, but it just feels like all this is against me. Understand that a lot of that is just the ego. A lot of that is just your generational trauma that you can transcend right now. It's simply just a choice. Continue to take the small steps by following your higher guidance and promptings. It's just the small steps, one step at a time. That's it. You don't have to jump from here to the mountain. No one's asking you to do that, right? Your spirit team got you. They're going to continue to guide you through the process. Follow your promptings. That's it. That's all you got to do. And I assure you the world's going to be a better place, y'all. I assure you that. So, yeah. Z, you just pulled up. Hey. Sorry, the chat's moving kind of fast. Auditron says showing love for the contrasting ones is challenging, but it's doable. Yeah, 100%. Must see how we view others from the highest frequency with purpose. 100%. Talk that talk, Audie. Z pulled up. What up? Happy you caught the live, Z. Auditron, everything has value. Big facts. Steph says synchronicity. 7 to 7. Okay, I must have missed something else too. But yeah. TJ said, give the vid a thumbs up, helps a lot. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Yes, please like, subscribe, share if you feel called. Unconditional love for self and seeing others as the larger self is a must. Talk that talk, Adichan. I'm grateful for your stream. I'm grateful for you for joining the stream. Thank you. Listen, I'm just walking in my purpose as best as I can, and sending love for all of you doing the same. So this has been a great experience. I'm so happy for the new people that were able to pull up and catch this. For the OGs, I appreciate you. Feel free to join the Telegram. Link is in the description. Yeah, man, I love you all. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to the message. I hope that this speaks to you, and to your heart. And yeah, Starseeds, let's get it. Yeah. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, next Wednesday at 6. And we out. Thank you so much, y'all. Love y'all. Peace.